there are various countries, people travel to. Are you going to say that you get better education compared to what you have in Nigeria when you study abroad?
Yeah, I can boldly say that. Yes. While I was in school, I remember in my undergraduate days, I schooled in the University of Abuja. I had a friend, and it was advised to withdraw. His dad had money, like they are well to do, so the process is his travel abroad for his studies. And when this guy went, he did not even go to US, UK, or Canada. Funny enough, he went to Ukraine. The one that shocked all of us was he came out as the best graduating student. And we're asking ourselves that, is it not this same person? This same person that all of us felt like, but boy, you understand that kind of a thing. But he graduated as the best graduating student in his school in Ukraine, which is to show that the problem of that man was not himself, but it was the education system in Nigeria that affected him. So I feel like traveling out, you are pushed. They have curriculums that brings out the best in you. They have this curriculum. They are so intentional about you. They are intentional about your growth. But in Nigeria, you go to a normal university now, you'll see thousands of students in a class, one lecturer, no megaphone, nothing. How do you expect such people to thrive in such learning environment?
Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from anywhere you're listening from. Welcome to a brand new episode of Your Travel Padi Podcast, brought to you by Gigs Media, a subsidiary of our parent company, Gigs Travel, your go-to place for everything travel related. And we welcome you to a brand new episode as usual. So if you need any travel update, any news, this is the right place you are. In the studio today, we have a very special guest, our in-house person, Mr. Testimony Alalade. Welcome on board, boss.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here, to be very honest. I've always been at the other end of this Travel Padi podcast, at the listening end, and I must confess that it has always been a very interesting section. We've had intellectual speakers come on board to share their insight, and I'm glad to be here today to share one or two things with the audience and with everybody, of course.
In order to add furthermore to what you said, so Testimony is always behind the camera, so he's one of the people that ensure that we get this production, out there to you guys. And he also serves as a travel consultant, right?
Yeah, travel research analyst.
Yes. You do everything. I mean, you are behind the camera.
I'm versatile. Yeah, I'm a travel research analyst. I also double as the work and study team lead.
Okay.
And my role as the work and study team lead, I have helped countless individuals. I've helped so many people, especially students, to move abroad for their study journeys. In fact, moving out of students, I've helped even individuals that do not want to study abroad, move abroad successfully. Although one of the challenges we've faced is the complexities in documents. A lot of people, when they hear complexities in documents, they just feel like I have my documents, the next thing I can do is to just move out. But it is not always like that. We need to tell people that it's not always like that. They need to understand that as a travel research analyst that I am, we take our time to research on the job. It's a whole lot. When I tell my clients that give me 3 days to research, they'll be like, Shebi, it's something that you've been doing. And I tell them it's not as easy as it
changes
looks like.
every day also.
It changes. We have to keep researching. We have to keep updating ourselves, because the policies are not the same thing. The policies of a country today might not remain the same thing tomorrow. So we have to keep ourselves updated. So that's the major challenges, and that is what we are here to talk about today.
Anyway, as you add what you said, Testimony is also you also double as the life of the office. I mean, you have a nickname, Tesh, right?
Yeah, Tesh. Yes. So, I was going to skip that part. I wanted to be a different guest. No. I remember when Mr. Alex came on board and he said he's no more loss. I remember when Mr. Gideon, he shared his Giddy Boss. So I just wanted to be different. I don't want to present my AKA out there. It's just for special people. But yeah, my listeners, my viewers are special people. Yes, I'm known as Tesh. Everybody, my friends, my family, everybody know me as Tesh. So that's my own AKA.
So I mean, so it's lovely to have an in-house person in the
Thank
studio
you.
now, talking about this topic and things like that.
Thank
But
you.
one thing that people often like is that they want to also understand that where you work also uh,
Hmm.
is a very great environment that nurtures growth. Within the not just within the employees, but
Okay.
also that okay, when you come here, we all love ourselves. So I feel like that's something that I would like you to tell the audience that um when you come here, you are working with people that love themselves, that will take you and your documentation and everything personally, like how they treat their own self.
Okay. So that's a very valid point that you just stated. Um, I don't know if I mentioned where I work. Yeah, this is your Travel Padi podcast,
That's, yeah,
and it's a sister company of
gigs
Gigs
travel.
Travels, which is Gladwill Integrated Global Service Limited. And one thing about Gigs Travels or where I work is we take every travel process personal. We there's this slang that we have amongst my colleagues. We tell them that we tell ourselves rather that do this work, do this process like you are doing your own.
Yes.
Do these things. So I have colleagues, I have people that I work with that by the time you see them writing personal statement, for example, you'll be like, wow,
Are you writing it for
like
yourself?
you like you understand what I'm saying? Like the way we package ourselves, the way we do these things, like it is our process that we are actually processing. And to be very honest, we've got more wins.
Mm.
We've got more wins, and that's our wins are what has been pushing us. They are what have been our driving force. They are what have been telling us not to give up. I tell people that I've helped over 100 persons travel out successfully, and I'm not going to stop here. I'm going to help 1,000. I'm going to help 1,000,000, and so on and so forth, because it is my pleasure. Because the more I do this, the more I get better at it.
Of course.
The more I can put people through and the likes.
So you've heard from testimony at GIG Travel. We help all your travel dreams come true. Whether it's a student route, you are going visiting, or you are moving. So somewhere down below, you are going to see the pop up of our Instagram and everywhere, so you can reach out to us and get started. So without further ado, let's get into the topic of the day. So we're
Okay.
taking a lot of time. So are you ready?
Let's go. It's like I was born for this. Let's go.
Anyways, before I get started,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about how travel process right now is becoming complex.
Hmm.
But even with that, we still have a lot of people, wanting to go and study abroad. Even with all the whole, these countries are adding, more different things are coming, more complexity and stuff like that. So why do you think like Nigerians still decide to, travel abroad to go and study, even with all these things added to it?
Okay. That's a. It's if you ask people, it's personal for each and every one of them. But to be very honest, the general answer would be to make life easier for them.
Mm.
We have many people out there in the diaspora that their life, the story they are living, the way they are doing well is inspiring, even with that we are in the country. I tell people this every now and then that as Nigerians we work too hard.
Mm.
We work too hard, and at the end of the day, there's literally little or nothing to show for it. There's this slang that I'm saving today, my savings is saving me tomorrow. That's the life of Nigerians here in Nigeria. So we believe that when we like move outside there are better opportunities, there are better ways to showcase my talents, there are
Yeah.
better ways to show people that this is what I can do and earn from what I can do. There are so many things that we see as hobbies here, and when you go to the diaspora, it's making you money. For instance, you are a student in
Yeah.
Nigeria and you are barbing, you are a barber. In your school, they'll be giving you 500, 1,000. Your guy will still come and barbing. But over there in the diaspora, it's not like that. The same air that you're barbing for your guy, you're collecting 500, 1,000. The same air you barb over there, you're making 80,000, 70,000 one air. And when you look at all these things, at the long run, it's worth it. To be very honest, I am someone that do not like to say Nigeria will not get better, but I believe Nigeria will get better eventually. But when it will get better is what we do not know. Many people are not patient, but we just really hope that one day it gets better, and that when Nigeria gets better, we want to be beneficiary. of that betterment. So I feel like the major reason why people move out of Nigeria to go outside is for the better life. Yes.
Gonna purchase outside of the. But are you going to say, there are various countries, people travel to. Are you going to say
Yes.
that you get better education compared to what you have in Nigeria when you study abroad?
Yeah, I can boldly say that. Yes. Yeah, let me do this. Let me give kudos to the education system in Nigeria. To be very honest, the education system in Nigeria are thriving. They are doing their best, in such a way that when they get maybe innovations out there,
Yeah.
Nigeria education system, they are open to innovations. They are open to change, which is a very good thing. But at the end of the day, it still boils down to, it's better over there. To be very honest, I've had my friends, studying in Nigeria, leaving the country and moving outside Nigeria to study, and the difference is clear. While I was in school, I remember in my undergraduate days, I schooled in the University of Abuja. I had a friend, he was a friend of mine, but we were not in the same department, and he was advised to withdraw. Was advised to withdraw from University of Abuja, and luckily for him, his dad had money, like they are well to do, so they processed his
Travels bound.
yes, his travel abroad for his studies. And when this guy went, he did not even go to US, UK, or Canada. Funny enough, he went to Ukraine. After his years of study in Ukraine. Now, number one thing is, when he traveled out, we were in 200 level. We were in 200 level. When he traveled out, he went to start. Now, the funny part, the interesting part of all this thing is, he finished before we that were in University of Abuja, his colleague, because then we had ASU strike, we had so many internal
things,
strikes, and you know how Abuja is. He finished before we in Abuja, and the one that shocked all of us was he came out as the best graduating student, and we asking ourselves that, is it not this same person?
That was
This same person that all of us felt like, but boy, you understand that kind of a thing. But he graduated as the best graduating student in his school in Ukraine, which is to show that the problem of that man was not himself, but it was the education system in Nigeria that affected him. So I feel like traveling out, you are pushed. They have curriculums that brings out the best in you.
Yeah,
I'm undergoing a training.
yeah.
Yes, I'm undergoing a training presently with the British Council, courtesy of my boss. Yeah, because in Gigs Travels they push us to learn. Yes, they push us to learn, and our bosses are really, they really invest in our growth. So I'm undergoing a training with the British Council, and one of the things I've learned so far is how they have this curriculum that suits everybody. They have this curriculum. They are so intentional about you. They are intentional about your growth. Oh, you might be someone that do not like reading physical books.
Yeah,
they give you ebooks.
Yeah.
You might be someone that loves listening instead of reading. There is a curriculum. But in Nigeria, you go to a normal university now, you'll see thousands of students in the class. One lecturer, no megaphone, nothing. How do you expect such people to thrive in such learning environment? So there are better opportunities out there for people that can afford it. And yeah, speaking of affording it, it is not all countries are expensive.
Yeah. That's what is going to take me to my next question now.
Thank you.
You mentioned Ukraine as a travel, like one of the travel destinations. I don't know if it's much of a travel destination right now for study, but currently right now, with how people are still going abroad to study and stuff like that.
True.
What countries right now do you think, like, okay, people are really pushing to now? People go to everywhere. Nigerians go to everywhere in the world, but I think it's season now. People are like saying, "Oh, I want to go to that country now." Like, what are, like, maybe 4 or 5 countries that I feel like people are currently going to right now?
Okay, so when it comes to studies, to be very, very honest with you, the US, the UK, and Canada are still topping that list. US, UK, Canada is still everybody's dream country. In as much as I understand the opportunities in these countries, I know that there are countries that you get similar opportunities, if not even better opportunities. So now, speaking of other countries, now we hear people saying Schengen countries. You hear countries like France. You hear countries like Germany. You hear countries like Austria. Those are countries that are people's dream countries. And I think it is so because of the costs for the US, UK, Canada. So a lot of people use these countries as a route to their final destination. You'll see people in the let me say in France now, for instance, or in Austria, still telling you that they want to go to the United States tomorrow, or still telling you that they still have Canada in mind, though. They just wanted to use that France or that Austria or that Ukraine, for example, as a route to their destination. So it happens like it depends on various people. Yes.
Looking to relocate, study, or explore the world at ease? At Gladwill Integrated Global Services, we specialize in international travel education, visa processing, legal advisories to destinations like Canada, USA, UK, Europe, and across Africa. From leisure vacations to corporate tours, Gigs Travels offers tailored travel experiences that suit your needs.
Yes.
Okay, now that you mentioned that, that's like very, very interesting. It takes me to my next idea. One thing I've realized is that, all these countries have various travel processes.
True.
But it also boils down to one destination exactly, is to get the visa.
So that's true.
If, it's all about that, so why do countries have like various travel processes? I'll give you, I'll cite an example, for instance. You have some countries who want you to, they want to do a physical interview, they want to conduct physical interviews.
That's true.
And then there are some that don't conduct interviews at all. You just, submit your documentation, they take a look at it, and things like that. For you now, which one do you think is easier, that I feel like, okay, people would most likely feel comfortable with that?
Okay, let me
All right.
Okay, that's a very interesting question. It's visa processes varies for countries, to be very honest. USA, for example, the interview, USA would call you for physical interview, unlike UK and Canada, where your documentation does the talking. So I really feel the reason for USA's interview is they believe most people are not the one that packaged the documents. Okay, you are telling me that you are the boss of, let me say, Lafarge now, or let's say you are telling me you are a business owner. Let me see your composure. So these things lead to the complexities in documents. So that's why when as a travel research analyst or as a travel agency, when we are preparing our clients, we prepare them even onto the we do pre-interview sections for them, for those that would be going for physical interview.
Sorry, it's because like where they they come in, kind of like talk about it or something like
that. We in fact, for clients that cannot come physically, we book Zoom sections for them. Like, okay, this is what you should take note of. You are going to this interview as a manager. Please look like a manager, dress like a manager. Because your documentations, your folders in the consular's hand is showing that you are a manager. Don't go looking like a houseboy. Don't go looking like a tech bro, like my host here. Don't go. You are a manager. Like, dress like it, look like it. And for those that you just go for biometrics too. Dress smart. Look sweet. Look good. Because already they have your documents. These things, these embassies, these places, they have cameras. They how did he dress when he came for his biometrics?
Read your body language.
Yes, how were you? How confident were you? How sure were you? So these things matters. But a lot of people just feel like everything is there now. My document has spoken for me. Well, these other things, you need to build confidence. You need to show that I am what my document is saying I am, or I am who my document is saying I am. So that's not about that.
That's interesting. Inside everything you said, you already mentioned like a couple of documentation challenges, which I feel like, can you put us to some documentation challenges? Like you mentioned a few, like you put in as a manager, because at Gigs Travel is what you tell us you do is what we put together.
That's
so
true.
It's now up to you to ensure we'll do the best, and it's now up to you to ensure that it works out. But what are some challenges that you feel like, when putting together those documents for, students, what are like some of the challenges like you've encountered personally, while doing that?
Okay, so challenges varies, to be very honest. It begins from, let me say, from a misspelt in your name to misarrangement of your name. Now let me buttress something. Let me give you a case study. We had a client come in one time that his name on his international passport is, let me say, Testimony Alalade, but on his WAEC it was showing Alalade Ayodele Testimony. You understand? You can
That's
see the
name, yeah.
complexity there. It's already complicated that way, because you are saying on this document you are saying you have 2 names. On this document you're saying you have 3 names. Which is your name exactly? So that is when that is why I don't know, but that is why that is where the work of a travel agency comes in. We give you best advice. We tell you, okay, now that it is this way, which of these documents carries, how many of your documents carries these 2 names or these 3 names? Then we decide, okay, you have more documents that carries maybe Testimony Alalade, not Testimony Ayodele Alalade. Then we tell you, okay, let's do an affidavit. Now, affidavit is in different stages. You understand? The affidavits to prove that there is maybe they misspelled or misarranged. But it is we as the expert that will tell you that, oh, okay, let's do it this way, let's do it that way.
Yeah.
So now that is for misspelled of name. Now, another complexity could be in your date of birth. Yeah, I personally had that issue. My date of birth is November 13th. But when I went for my international passport, I don't know, the person that added to me, instead of putting 13th 11, the person used 13th 01. The person gave me January 13th instead of November 13th. Yeah. I have a birth certificate showing that I am November 13th. But now my passport is showing January 13th. Now, passport and NIN, we know how this thing works together with BVN. Now, my banks now they wish me birthday. They wish me on my birthday January 13th. While in the recent I am November 13th. So this now for someone like me, that if I want to travel out with that document now, I have to do an affidavit. Now, and not just an affidavit, I have to go to this to the bank, for instance, that there's been an error in my name. I have to go to NIN office to say this. But these complications are endless. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. They are endless. These are the things that a normal human being now would say it doesn't matter. Right now, to me, it doesn't matter to me right now, because I still feel like I'm enjoying my mother's land, and I'm flexing with Tinubu, and we are going with the vibes and everything. But it would matter when I am ready to migrate, when I'm ready to move out of the country. Now, which brings me to a point. Don't wait until when you feel it is necessary
before you make
a move. Yes, before you make corrections. These things differs. Like, if you notice that in your school you went to collect your, let me say, your original degree certificate, and you are noticing that your name was misspelled, correct it immediately. Don't say it's the degree that matters. Let them know that I carry first class or I'm a 2-1 student. At the end of the day, now you are applying for a school in the United States. You are putting Adegun Samuel in name on your passport is Adegun Samuel, and the name on your certificate is showing Alagun Samuel. It's somehow they'll be like they either feel like you forged that document, or you do not know what you are doing. So in fact, consulars don't even waste their time in they just this one is not serious, and they'll just put your file in one side.
Well, that's now even for someone who is trying to travel, like, you get to realize that it is actually like very complex for like just a normal human to understand. I'm starting to understand it better now that you're saying it. So it brings me to another question about proof of English, for instance, like you know how to speak it well. We have a couple of them. We have IELTS, we have TOEFL, we have CELPIP. And but to you personally, looking at Nigeria, for instance, now, is like everything we were taught was from English.
Okay.
From primary school down to university level. And then, after this, we still have to prove again that we know how to speak English when the official language of the country also is English.
Okay.
But for you personally, as a travel researcher analyst, Do you also agree with a few consensus that although it's becoming a thing now where they are trying to take it out the open of English, that
Mhm.
Nigerians should continue to sit for these exams?
Okay, so first of all, I would like to say that in most cases, when we are applying for clients, when we get to prove proof of English proficiency,
Yeah.
there is a part that shows countries that are exempted from proving, and in most cases, Nigeria is always one of those countries that are exempted
Yeah.
from proving this thing, because Nigeria, from proving that we are that we speak English, because Nigeria is already known globally as an English speaking country.
Yeah.
But in some cases, some courses that you're applying for might need you to prove that you speak English. Some is the school. The school would say, oh, although you are a Nigerian, but
But you
still
must
prove
prove
that
it. You
you
speak
speak
English.
English, which will bring me to another case study. We did, my team members, we did Canada for a client recently, and yes, we got to prove that you are English, you are from an English speaking country, your proficiency in English. And we said, I am from an English speaking country, and they waived that. You don't need to write IELTS or whatever again. But now, after a while, we got a message from the school. We've done this school severally. We have schools that we work with. We know how they work. Then we got an error from the school saying, please prove your English, upload a degree, upload a certificate, either IELTS, either TOEFL, either GMAT. Just show us that you speak English. Then my sim and I said, what's going on? What is the issue with this application? What was different? Before, my line director just noticed that, the WAEC that we uploaded for this person had a D in English. you had a D in English, and you are saying you are from an English speaking country. So definitely you can't. So what's the assurance that you can speak this English?
Yeah.
So now they've already responded that we want a proof of English. Blah. Now we now have to write the school back that, we are sorry. Yes, we the first WAEC I did not do well in my English, but I have another WAEC that shows that I did well in my English, and we uploaded that second WAEC that showed that I did well in English, and it was accepted, and the person got the admission. So you can see that it is not really about writing IELTS, TOEFL, or the likes. All they need to prove is, can you speak English? Can you understand English? Can you write English? So as simple as a WAEC is recognized. WAEC is West
global,
Africa. NECO is recognized. So as long as you do well in your English and you can prove it with your documents that I can speak English, you are good to go. They won't disturb you.
So if we get you correctly now, like based off of the analogy, like you kind of like give, is that as long as you do well in your English, maybe in your WAEC or something, and there's a high chance that you might be exempted. But it depends on the country also,
on the country,
like you said,
and
the course
on the course of study
that
you are trying
to do.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So one discrepancy that I kind of like have, especially when it comes to Canada, people often talk about it a lot, because CELPIP is like unique is a Canadian thing.
Yeah.
So I've heard people say, oh, okay, if you are trying to apply to maybe schools in Canada, do CELPIP, don't do IELTS, is you'll get it, you'll get everything, they will approve you faster. Do you think that's a myth? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter. Trust me. Not to brag, but I'm going to brag. Like I said, I head the work and study units at Gladwell Integrated Global Service Limited, and just this year we've gotten more than 12 Canadian admissions. Just this year, we've gotten more than 12 Canadian admissions without IELTS, without CELPIP, without GRE, with just your WAEC results. We've gotten more than 12 Canadian admissions. In fact, we've gotten permits, like study permits. So it's just knowing what to do. That is why I tell people, in as much as, yes, you are not dull. Yes, you are not dull. You know these things. I have friends that will be like, hey, if you can do it, I can do it. I'll say, well, you can do it, but there'll be a place that you get stuck. But me, there are places that I cannot get stuck, because peradventure I have gotten stuck in those areas before, and I know that this was what I did then. And I have teams that I work with, teams of intellectuals, because I used to tell people, travel journey is not a personal thing. You can't do these things alone. You can't do it alone. At Gladwell, when I have a general supervisor. She's the general supervisor, but when I am faced with challenges, general supervisor becomes work and study team member. How we
Everybody puts their
sorting
mind
this?
together as a
Yes,
problem.
when it gets to that point, when we are faced with challenges, we face it together as a team, and that is why, to the glory of God, we've been having great results.
All right, guys, you've heard it from testimony. Has had a lot to say on this subject. But we are not done yet. Catch us on the next episode. We'll continue the conversation from where we stop. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And see you in a bit.